And for the rest of the period, it was this problem that we tried to solve. But what made me happy was that he agreed with me. I thought it was a challenge that required a response. And I hope that my response was something that people coming behind us will learn some lesson from. Now, back home in Nigeria, in the Department of Arabic and Islamic Studies, I had quite a number of challenges. University of Ibadan, UI, great UI. Great University of Lagos, We, as I mentioned earlier on, there is a Department of Arabic and Islamic Studies. And at the time in question, all of us, all the lecturers were Muslim. But it was quite natural that people outside of the university would require our leadership and guidance. And so we gave as much service to the community as we could. On radio, the television, struggle to get our rights, from the Muslim rights from the government. We didn't realize that some people within the university community didn't like it. So they said our department was too much of a missionary group. Missionary, that's why I quoted it. And so they decided that our department should be merged. The Islamic Studies section should be merged with the Religious Studies department, and Arabic be taken to modern languages. And we had the right and the responsibility to respond. And I was head of department. We prepared our case. And I said, if you want to do that, any merger that would be seen as fair should affect other departments that were created in the same year, 1962, as our department was created. And I had gone into the library, I had made a list of those departments. Department of Linguistics and Modern Nigerian Languages, Department of Modern Languages, Department of Theatre Arts. All of them were part and parcel of the Department of English. So better take them all back there. And fortunately, some of the professors and heads of those departments were there. And I think they thought that trouble was coming. And immediately, because those of them that were not at the first meeting where the decision was taken were surprised that it was raised at all. And so the decision was reversed. Now, I am making a case for retaining the department, the Arabic and Islamic Studies as two units within the same department by citing the success story of the Department of Arabic and Islamic Studies with regard to our certificate program. The certificate program was meant for graduates of Arabic institutions who had little or no English, but who have been able to study English to some level, so that they would have an experience of university life and would be encouraged to come and do degree courses. And it has served. It has served the whole of the Ummah so much that we should be grateful to Almighty Allah that He gave the department that idea. most of those that came out with first class, like Najimuddin in political science, how I wish he came over to us. But God was in the all right, you are quite right. Quite right. He did in London at our center, did very well, and even went further to do diploma at a higher level. So many of them many of those who came out with first class in the department were products of these Marakis and Ma'ahid. The Markaz at Agege, the MAD at Ibadan, and Elikuo and Harashi and others. And many of them are now professors all over the place, including Professor Bidmos of the University of Ibadan, and I'm proud. University of Lagos. And whenever I hear him refer to me as the one who supervised his PhD, I feel elated. Now, many of these people would have remained in the Marakis or doing Ishafa, Jalabi. Why? Because their parents refused to send them to the Western type schools for fear that they might lose their religion. So when the department came up with this idea, it has served the whole of the community, the whole of the country, but it has served the cause of Islam even greater than it has served other causes. Some of you may have heard about the cross saga at the University of Ibadan. 1986, you're right. But it started in August 1985. And I happened to be in the leadership of the Muslim community at that time. I bore the brunt of it all, but alhamdulillah. What happened was that we had this small mosque, which looks like Calabash, right? Like a dome, huh? All right. Thank you very much, that's better. And right in front of it was the space that we used as our Eid ground. Shortly before Eid al-Adha in 1985, we saw that that particular area had been fenced in preparation for the building of a chapel mosque and a chapel hall. Fortunately for me, Professor Abdul was still alive and was the leader of the community. It was in his own hand. He signed a letter written to the Vice Chancellor saying that the Vice Chancellor should ensure that that problem did not become a national issue. I have a copy of Professor Abdul's letter published in my book. I say this because although the whole thing started in the time of Professor Abdul, he died before it became a national issue. And people, the Christians within the university were saying, well, the man of peace was gone. The man of war was in the leadership. Now, we quickly moved away from that particular spot and chose another place, which was right in front of our new mosque, which was yet to be opened, yet to be commissioned at the time. And we found that place big enough, spacious enough for the Eid. But when we got there, we realized that even when praying within the mosque, we would be praying towards, in the Qibla direction, we would be praying towards a cross. Big cross. If you, in University of Ibadan, you see it there. So we quickly wrote to the Vice Chancellor asking him to kindly facilitate the movement of the cross to somewhere closer to the chapel. It was much closer to the mosque than it was to the chapel. That's the problem started then. The Christians said over their dead body, it wouldn't happen. So we agreed on a compromise. The compromise was that there would be a screen right in front of our mosque so that we would not be sighting the cross when praying within our mosque. But when the screen was about to be erected, it was as if it was the mosque that was to be screened. So they didn't want to see anything that would look like a screen close to the church, to the cross. And in any case, the location where the screen is today is even closer to the mosque than it is to the cross. So I told the Vice Chancellor, we are not going to accept this. Indeed, the MSS had already written to those who were about to start work there, if you come here tomorrow, we will kill you. I said, I might kill you, Koloko now. So I told the Vice Chancellor, I disagree with the language and the approach of our boys, but I agree with them in principle. And the whole community agrees with them in principle. Then the Vice Chancellor told me that, he wrote to me in a letter dated July 3, 1986, that the decision to locate the screen where they had wanted to locate it was based on a number of things, including an advice that came from the Ministry of Education. So the Muslim community had no other option but to write to the Ministry of Education. And we wrote to the minister, detailing everything. When we got there, the minister gave us an appointment. When we got there, we found our Vice Chancellor already there. Of course, the minister did what was right, inviting him to be present. He was enraged, the Vice Chancellor. He said he wondered why the minister entertained a letter from us and a visit from us without passing the letter through him. I said, sir, you are right, sir. You would be right if everything had been done properly. But you were the one who told us that it was the ministry that asked you to do this. So we are helping you by coming here. And I wrote in the letter also that the Vice Chancellor once said that the cross was cited where it was cited because it was a university monument. And I said to him at a meeting, I challenge the wisdom of regarding a cross as the monument of a university, because this university is not a Christian university. And when I mentioned that to the minister said, oh, Dawood, no, I don't think the Vice Chancellor will say that, because the Vice Chancellor knows that the cross cannot be. Now, yet another development regarding this issue of the mosque was of the cross and the mosque was that the press started bombarding us. It was on a Thursday that we visited the minister. On Friday, as I descended from the khutbah, from the minbar, and we had prayed, someone approached me and said, the people in town were already aware of the fact that you dragged your Vice Chancellor to the minister because the minister was a Muslim. How did they know? We later got to know through some intelligence that as soon as he left the ministry, he went to Ikene, and it was, as I came back to my office on that day, somebody from the Tribune came to me and said, "Why did you drag your vice chancellor?" So, and thereafter, quite a number of newspapers were attacking us vehemently, attacking the minister, attacking the government. And I wrote to the vice chancellor. I said to him, "You can see that the newspapers are giving distorted accounts of what happened, and we did not tell them. You perhaps would know who told them." He replied and said, "I am following the development." So, at last, the matter was resolved by the police commissioner, who came in and actually, effected an amicable settlement. One of other areas of challenge for me was the fact that there is disunity, or there was disunity among the Muslim community in Nigeria, especially as between the North and the South. And I was not happy about this at all. I tried to bring about some resolution. I made contacts. I was a member of the Council of Ulama, which met regularly in Kaduna, and I offered to speak to our late Baba Adam al-Bilori, rahimahullah. But the situation was too bad. I was called names. I was even told that because I was Ijebu, I am not a true Yoruba man. Because I was told, "Bubu Yoruba ń lọ báyìí, ìwọ ń lọ báyìí." A sì bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ fún wákàtí mẹ́rin àbọ̀. Àti ìbéèrè kan sọ̀rọ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn kó má bọ̀ tiwa. But alhamdulillah that things changed later. But I did not give up, despite all the challenges. And I am happy that if I did not succeed immediately at that level, I succeeded with the younger ones. Alhamdulillah, I was reminded, I had forgotten, I was reminded the fact that it was in my office that what is now Nakomio was established. And I wrote a paper for a conference in America on the role of the MSS in uniting the Muslims in Nigeria. And I thought that the fact that Nigeria, the South and North, were amalgamated in 1914 was indeed a blessing from Almighty Allah for the Muslims, particularly in Yoruba land. You can imagine what would have happened to us if our country, if Yoruba land were a country on its own. Perhaps we would have suffered what the Muslims suffered in Sierra Leone. The Sharia issue was also a challenge to me, especially during the period of the controversy over the Sharia in the late 70s. And my first paper on this particular topic was written in 1977. We also presented memoranda to the Constituent Assembly, myself and my colleague, Professor Malik. I also presented a faculty lecture titled Islamic Criminal Law Revisited. Why? Because the media were insulting Islam and the Muslims when Noibi raised the status of the Sharia in the Sudan, especially the criminal law. So I thought it was necessary to bring the value of Islamic criminal law to the attention of people. We also set up a committee, a national committee on the Sharia in Nigeria, and invited those of us who started it, university lecturers and judges of the Sharia court, and late Justice Okunwola was a member, and Chief Abiola also gave us full support and became the chairman. Now, the Sharia issue was also an opportunity for me to draw the attention of even the judiciary to it. I was invited to a court session in Ibadan, the High Court. I was invited to a High Court in Ibadan by this lady, Folake Solanke Sam, to advise the court regarding a law of succession in Islam, because the case involved a Muslim family. I was in the witness box for a total of about 3 hours. But in the course of my evidence, the judge, who was a Christian, stopped me and said, "Dr. Noibi, please sit down. Are you saying to us that all that you have been telling us about the succession, law of succession is in the Sharia?" I said, "That was just a tip of the iceberg." And he said, "Why are people criticizing the Sharia then?" And he said, "Look at us human beings, we are so ignorant. Here I am as a judge who qualified some 25 years ago, and I have been on the bench for 15 years. I'm ignorant of this law that is practiced in my own country. If I had my way, I would say that every student of law in Nigeria studies the Sharia." On another occasion, I was invited by the BBC to comment on the Sharia issue in Nigeria. That was in 2000, when the issue of the Sharia was raised in Zamfara. They invited me quite a number of times. And I remember that this particular morning, they had recorded the opinion of Wale Soyinka. I didn't know that they were going to play it back. It was international. When I said what I needed to say, they said, "Okay, now listen to what your countryman said." And Wale Soyinka said that the Sharia issue in the North was a political Sharia. Who said he was enriched by the fact that I made reference to the Bible at all. And he said, "Anyway, I'm sending you this book." The book was titled, "I Dared Call Him Father." And it was the autobiography of a Pakistani lady who they said had converted to Christianity. And he said in the accompanying letter, "This shows that my religion, that is his own religion, was winning against yours. If you have the courage, read the book." That was what he said to me. When I opened the parcel and I found the book, I remember that I already had a copy in my library. So I wrote back to him and said, "Thank you for giving me yet another copy of the book. I did not need any courage to read it because I already had read it. But if the misadventure of just one Muslim lady has so impressed you to the extent of throwing this challenge at me. I do hope that you have the courage to read this book that I'm going to send to you. It is titled Daughters of Another Path, and it is the account of thousands of American women, highly qualified, educated, who had converted to Islam. I hope he had the courage, but he didn't have the courage to reply. Now, living in Britain, in the community of the Muslims, like Najmuddin, I also had a couple of challenges. One of them was the fact that as consultant on Islamic matters for an organization known as Usrah Trust, I wrote quite a number of works for British schools, introducing Islam to them, and also helping with the care of Muslim prisoners by giving them some little books on Islam and where many reverted to Islam. We also had an exhibition called the Islamic Experience Exhibition that we showed across Britain, and thousands of children visited our exhibition. Only a few of them were Muslims, and they were coming across Islamic studies, Islamic knowledge for the first time, most of them. That helped greatly in at least doing dawah, even to young ones. I also wrote quite a number of works for them, particularly injecting Islamic values into works written for students studying science, such as the environmental pollution and what have you. Well, I was also appointed or elected the chairman of the National Council for the Welfare of Muslim Prisoners. And in that capacity, we visited quite a number of prisons across the country. And the government department, that is, Her Majesty's Service, Prison Service, was very supportive and appreciative of what we were doing. We also participated in bringing together quite a number of Muslim organizations, including the largest umbrella organization in Britain, Muslim organization in Britain today, the Muslim Council of Britain. But apart from working at that national level, at the level of the Muslim community, Nigerian Muslim community, we discovered that there were many Muslim groups, and 95% of them were from the southwest of Nigeria. Now, it means that these organizations would be in the same market, in quotes, because they would be dealing with Nigerian Muslims from the southwest. If you are not careful, there would be competition and there would be rivalry. So we thought of bringing them together under what Noibi described as, it started as CCNMO, Coordinating Committee of Nigerian Muslim Organizations in the United Kingdom, and later became the Council of Nigerian Muslim Organizations in the United Kingdom. And the committee is still there today, and it is waxing even stronger. And as advisor to the Muslim community, particularly the Nigerian the Muslim Association of Nigeria. I used to call Mansour Kofi Annan at that time because he was our general secretary. I have made my very humble contribution, particularly in the area of tafsir, in the area of khutbahs of Juma, the Eid, and what have you. But more importantly, in the areas of helping the Muslim community, particularly from the Southwest, to get over their family problems. And of course, it's not peculiar to them, but happening in a strange land, in an alien environment, it could be far more difficult to handle. But that was not all. I also had my relations with the non-Muslim community as well. But by the way, still within the Muslim community, we set up an organization called the Sodok Muslim Forum, which Mahmoudin referred to. That was because being the most vibrant and active of all the Muslim organizations in Sodok, that is in southwest London, the mosque of the Muslim Association of Nigeria was recognized by government as the one that they could relate to in all matters relating to Muslims. And I was proposed as the representative on a body set up by the central government called the Sodok Muslim Forum, the Sodok Council for Strategic Development. They later changed the name. And I thought, how could I be representing the people that I don't know? It was not only Nigerians. There were Pakistanis, they were more than we were, the Bangladeshis, and others. So we started the process of setting up what later became the Sodok Muslim Forum. It took us not less than 2 years to put it together because there was a lot of mistrust. But alhamdulillah, that organization is growing stronger. But that was not all. The Christians and the Jews and the Buddhists also came together and asked us to join them in setting up what became the Sodok Multi-Faith Forum. It was actually in the mosque of the Muslim Association of Nigeria that we inaugurated that body, and we have been working together very well. Now, in the area of multi-faith work, quite a number of things happened. The first of the challenges I had was that I was invited to a conference in Canada, and the theme of the conference was participating in one another's religious rituals, so that we Muslims will go to the church, the Christians will come